This is Steve Harris from Iron Maiden and British Lion. You listen to Andrew McCasebit from Scars and Guitars.
G'day everybody and welcome to the show. I'm pleased you can join me for a conversation with Fredrik Åkesson. He's the excellent guitarist in long-running Swedish maestros Opeth. The catalyst for this chat is due to the launch of a new album from Opeth. This one's called The Last Will and Testament. Of course, we discuss the album, guitar playing, and many other topics. It's always a joy to catch up with Fredrik, so here he is.
How are you going? We've had a number of conversations over the years. I wouldn't expect you to remember these things, but 2018 and 19, I think we had some chats.
I do. I think I remember. Yeah, because there aren't many guitar magazines in Australia.
Yep.
So I think we talked during Incauda, yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the live.
Not face to face though.
Not face to face, no, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Yeah, great to see you got your guitar there though.
Yeah, I mean, I had 1 minute there, so it was perfect. You're a bit late. I could fiddle around a little bit.
Yeah, how have the conversations been going for you?
Good. I mean, we've done tons of interviews now. Me and Mike went to London past week, and last week we were in Paris and then Germany.
Mm.
And this is the third interview we do today. And I do. We did one together, Italian guitar magazine, an hour ago, and then I've done one for Australia before you.
Mm.
So you're the third interview for today, and I'll do a couple more.
Okay.
Then I'm going to play guitar.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, well, look. I'll start. The question side of things. I'll ask you. The last will and testament. The first thing that came to mind. It seems like it's going, and this might be the obvious statement, but I'll invite you to contribute otherwise. But it seems like you're going back to say some of the sounds that made the band say so endearing in the first instance after going into some prog territory. Do you think that's correct?
Yeah, I mean, the element that a lot of people talk about is apparently the growls are back after 4 albums without the growls. And I mean, there was a reason for that because it's a concept album. And we wanted to make a more heavier album this time around.
Yeah.
Because we did 4, I mean, they're all different, in my opinion, the previous 4 or the last 4 albums. But this time around, we had a new drummer coming in and we played more of the old school heavy stuff. But I wouldn't call it going back. I think this is a step forward, but bringing in some old elements, but also bringing in new elements.
Mm.
It also displays the prog era as well, I think. But it's a more compact, the most compact Opeth album, most restless and most intense in a way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The songs aren't as long, but there are not less ingredients in them. They're more not like TikTok, but they're more action packed in a way.
You mentioned the new drummer there. Was that was there any element of that was challenging for you?
No, he's been amazing, and luckily we got to do 3 tours with Valtteri before we started working on the album. And he's been so good all the way and easy to get along with, which is also important, of course.
Hmm.
But as a player, he's so accurate, and I mean, he's an extreme metal drummer. He can play kick drums super fast, and he's super tight. He keeps a steady tempo, and but he's also very tasteful. The way we found out about him was when he played the track "The Devil's Orchard," which is it demands a lot of taste, and it's a different type of groove than a typical death metal track or something like that. It's more prog, and he had that element as well, which I would say is probably a bit rare. And he kind of clicked all the boxes, and so I think Michael really wanted the drums to be more challenging, more intense than ever on this album. I would say this is the most trickiest drums Opeth has, written or done before. And he had to practice for like half a year for nailing it. So we asked all three. Well, he said on his own that if he only had 1 month to learn this album, he wouldn't have been able to do it. So it's been good. He's a bit of a vitamin injection for the band because he's a bit younger, or quite a lot younger actually, and he's good for us. We suck a bit of his blood because he's younger, so we feel more rejuvenated now.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding. But no, it's been all good. New fuel,
Yeah, new fuel. Get it. New blood. Yep. Yeah. It's always good that somebody's on the same page, but they approach it from a slightly different perspective, and they can offer a unique context on the great work that you already do. But on that point, what about your songs and your riffs? Did you contribute a lot this time around as well?
Well, I got the freedom to do all the solos. I play solos almost on every track in a way. I mean, the second track is more of a little tapping thing. It's not really solo, but I had total freedom with the solos, and I recorded them on my own this time. When we did in Cauda, the previous album, I went down to Michael's demo studio and basically improvised a few takes, and I said I wanted to take the track back home and work on them more, but Michael was like, no, let's keep it as it is. It's perfect. And I was like, oh, okay, here we go again. But this time around, I actually, since we got one track at the time, basically, I worked on one track at the time, which I paid more afterthought to these solos, I think, than on any previous Opeth album I played on, I would say. Some solos on previous albums, maybe, but I tried to reach some new territory that I hadn't been in before, and most importantly, I tried to make all the solos different from each other on the album. And of course, you want something that suits the song and not the purpose to showing off or anything like that. It's a balance. I try to think of it like a little tiny composition within the song. It might sound pompous, but that was the goal. And also, Michael, the parts I play on, he has quite a unique way of writing riffs. And like for paragraph 5, for instance, that was quite challenging. I was working for that solo for a week. I wasn't playing on a week, but before I found what kind of direction I wanted it to go, because I need to jump in between different modes in that solo.
Okay.
I can't just stick to the minor pentatonic or anything like that. So there's certain key notes you need to land on, and which is always interesting. That's something as a guitarist I always try to get better at, just playing a proper blues and land on the right notes and playing over the chords. It's always interesting, and it's always developing, so I try to reach, step up the game, do some stuff I haven't done before.
Yeah. What you're noteworthy. You're one of those soloists. I'm not saying you're similar to Adrian Smith, but you're from a similar school in that your solos are a song within a song, if you understand where I'm coming from. So you've already touched on...
Thank you. That's a huge compliment. I do. When I was a kid, Peace of Mind was my second album that I bought. First one was AC/DC, for those about rock when I was a kid. And then it was Peace of Mind, and Adrian's solos were... But maybe you're referring to this one on the paragraph 3, which we released. It's like a pendulum lick.
Sure. Oh, it's not coming through. It's not quite coming through the...
Okay, sorry about that.
No, you're right.
It's the intro of the solo in paragraph 3 is kind of this this sequence.
Yeah.
And when I came up with that, like, this is a little bit like Adrian Smith, actually.
There you go.
If you listen to it, you probably know what I mean.
Yeah.
Kind of a pendling sequence type of thing.
Yeah. But as I say, you naturally so you you understand the academic side of it if you're talking about modes, but then you've also got the creative side of it. So, and you've touched on this topic already, but did you go out of your way to try anything brand new on the album?
Yeah, on that track number 5, I was looking at some kind of Indian music. This guy makes this Pasadena or something. I saw a YouTube clip when he did this extreme slide. So I was trying to incorporate that a little bit. So during that solo, I feel like there's a different character popping up in that solo like 2 times. More like a happy Indian type of character that is there in the beginning somewhere and right at the end. So I was trying to combine a more positive type of color versus a more melancholic type of color. And when I come up with it, I don't really think theoretically about modes. I kind of just, after a while, I'm not super good at theory, but I know some stuff. But I was just trying to find the right sounds in my head and trying to jump in back and forth. It's interesting when you improvise over something that doesn't have a minor or major tone. You can jump in between a lot of different colors. I look at modes as colors, but I don't necessarily know all the names of them. But I know the patterns.
Yeah.
But and also, there's a lead. I try to make all the solos different from what I've done before, actually. There's some new stuff I haven't done before, I guess. But the last track, the ballad solo, for instance, I wanted to do more of an emotional type of solo where I try to come up with a strong melody in the beginning that wasn't in the song. So I was kind of building licks around this melody and try to make it like a more of a sentimental, bit inspired of Snowblind, Richie Blackmore, kind of instrumental, meeting David Gilmour in a way, but a bit more faster stuff at certain points. But quite a lot of Blackmore-ish vibe I went for, but hopefully in my own way. But that's a pretty long solo, so it's kind of difficult to make a long solo. I try to make it interesting all the way without shredding too much. It was initially a little bit longer. I really went for at the very end playing like really fast stuff, but Michael thought it was really a bit over the top. But it's in the fade, you hear me. We thought about the Yngwie Malmsteen track Marching Out.
Yes.
At the end, it's a very beautiful track, and it's playing so slow, and at the very end you hear precis right in the fade, like it start going faster. And we had the very end of this solo, not the entire solo. We were talking about it should be a little bit like Marching Out in the fade, like it gets a bit more intense.
I love that comparison, by the way. That's awesome. Yeah. Did you use your signature model guitars on this album, or did you branch out a bit more?
Well, I can run through it, what we used, if you like. I'll try to do it quickly. But for the main rhythms, Michael used, we usually do one track left, right each. And Michael's right and I'm left. And I used a Strat from 1970 with a Dimasio HS2, and I bought it from John Norum. It's from 1970 and it's great, but FS2 is kind of more beefy than the regular single coil pickup because Mike wanted us to use single coils, which I think was smart because it cuts through very well with all the other stuff, all the layers of mellotrons, drums, bass, and also strings and stuff. So, and Michael used the telly for the rhythms. For the leads, I used a Strat for that ballad. But apart from that, I used a PRS Custom 24 with a Floyd Rose, actually.
Okay.
On track 7, I used that one. And also on track 4, after Ian Anderson's flute solo, I used that guitar because I did some aggressive high bumps and stuff. And the only negative thing with the Floyd, if you hit it too hard, it gets this little flutter, which I don't like. But it stays in tune well.
Yeah.
And also for the very first track, I used an old Bernie guitar that I bought here in Stockholm, which actually is a Neil Sean signature from Bernie, but it has the Fernando sustainer in it. So if you listen to one note, there's a playthrough video of it actually out now that you can check out. I don't know if you've seen it.
Not yet. I'm going to check it out though. Yeah.
Yeah. Please put the link to the playthrough video in your magazine or website if you like.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Because I have that guitar, the Bernie, in the playthrough. So I play the solo. It's professionally filmed, and I replayed all the guitars in a studio here after the album was done.
All right. Okay.
So you can just look Opeth Fredrik playthrough paragraph 1. Anyhow, so that has a sustainer pickup, which I use, and also Floyd. So there's one note there you hear like, you get the kind of EBow thing without trying to have the EBow. So that was a bit different. Apart from that, I think we used a Tremonti PRS as well for some leads with Samir Duncan Frankenstein pickups, custom shop in them, which I really like. And I had a Junior there from 1955 with a P90 in him that we used for some. There's a lot of melodies on the guitars, like melody lines and not solos, but leads that we kind of experimented with different. We had an SG from 72 there as well. So that's about it. We tried to narrow it down before we went to the studio because we did a lot of A/B testing before going there to save some time. Last time we went to Rockfield, or the first time, I think we brought 25 guitars. And then it's just ridiculous because you waste a lot of time going through them all. If they don't really fit the purpose, there's no point bringing it.
Yeah, I'm hearing you. Yeah, I will check out that. I love the playthrough videos, by the way. I think it's actually really important you do that too, because if you've got kids and you're around children, you see how engrossed they are in iPads and the digital environment, and not like I grew up doing, playing, sitting in the room and listening to Yngwie and, in my case, Doug Wimbish from Living Colour and people like that, because I'm a bassist, and figuring out how they do that stuff. Those formative years, those thumbprint years, I call them, they don't have that. But the fact that you're actually doing the playthrough videos, I think, is crucial.
Oh, thanks. So we have done more actually. I did 3 of them, so there's 2 more to come later on when the song gets released.
Okay.
Also, our drummer Valtteri has done, and Martin Mendes as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you're acknowledging that you're a musician's band. Some bands shy away from it because they think it's not what. I don't know. There's I wouldn't call it a stigma, but you know what I'm saying. I talk a lot about this on the podcast, how important the playthrough videos are, and the fact that you're embracing it, I think, is a great thing. Yeah,
I haven't really done that before, but the guy we did it is he lives pretty close from where I live, and he also mixed the Red Rocks live album.
Mm-hmm.
So we worked with him before. We worked with him on the Watershed album as well. So he's done a studio here with Sepultura's been there recording and lots of bands.
Mm-hmm.
And he had this great camera guy, and it was kind of cool. I mean, I did 3 songs in one day, so I almost did like half the album, rhythm guitars and the solos. Not all the additional guitars, I didn't do those, but I did the rhythm and the actual solos. So it's fun. I mean, it's fun that people appreciate that. And as you mentioned, I also have a problem with kids. My daughter with the screens, it's a global problem.
Absolutely.
And it's like a drug for them. And then it's difficult. I guess you can just take them away, but then all hell breaks loose. It's I know. You have to find a balance, which is difficult, But if you give them more activities, like you have to learn these chords or something like that, I think that's a step in the right direction, probably.
It's just a way of finding a way for it to fit in the other part of your life. Like my oldest daughter, just quick story, is a good artist, and So now I say, if you're going to use an iPad, it's to look at the way the artists develop their techniques as opposed to the junk on Disney and all the other bullshit that seems to be invading their consciousness.
Yeah, and also these shorts they watch, it's just frying up their brains. It's very unhealthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've only got a couple more minutes, haven't I, before you got to jump on the next one. Is that correct? Or
yeah, oh, shit, time flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go for it. I'll try to answer quickly so you get as much.
I guess the only, there's tons of, I've got heaps more questions as you can appreciate. I'll try and line up another one, John, again with you, okay? Because
yeah, that's fine.
We always run out of time.
Hit me up. I'll be there for you.
Sweet. All right. Just what can you share with us about working with Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull?
Well, we never met him. I mean, Michael met him at the show before, but this time around, initially was asked to play on Heritage, but it didn't happen. But this time around, his son is his manager, James, and he approached Michael, and I think he told Ian that maybe this is something you should do, and bought the project. And he was going to do variations on one track, but it's on several tracks. It might be 4. And we didn't ask him to play flute on the album, but that was actually Ian himself who, do you want some flute? And nice. Michael, yes, please. And there was really not a section written for it, but there's a track called Paragraph 4. It's before my guitar solo. Ian plays a flute solo. At the time when I did the solo, I didn't know. But luckily, we thought it fit well together anyways, So that was a big blessing, to have him on board. He's actually playing here in Stockholm on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So maybe we'll get to see him. We're going to go to the show at least.
Fingers crossed. All right, I'll leave it there. Let's catch up. Hopefully on this cycle. Of course we will try.
Yeah. I mean, we'll hopefully, most likely, come to Australia next year. We're nothing official, but we're working on it right now.
Oh yeah, I really want to go into some detail about the Opera House show and what that was like for you, because I'm really happy for you guys that you got to do that. So yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, you can. Let's do another interview if you like. Just let Barbara know and the label. And
yeah,
not a problem.
All right, thanks. It's always great to catch up, mate. Have a great one, and I'll chat to you again.
You too. Thanks for talking to me.
Well, there you have it, a conversation with Fredrik Åkesson from Opeth. A bit of background. We spoke almost 2 months ago, about a month and a half ago or so, and we planned to reconvene, but the opportunity was yet to present itself, and with the album launched this week, I thought it was important to release the conversation to coincide with the release of the album. So there you go. Perhaps in the near future, another opportunity to chat to Fredrik will materialise, because they are touring across Australia next year. All right, that's it from me. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith and I host Scars and Guitars. Until the next one, it's a goodbye for now.